Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I know a lot of you know that October is Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And maybe some of you do not know that it is also a Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So that being said, I'm going to talk a little bit about domestic violence. So a while back I was a victim. And a while back I would have never said that because I didn't believe I was a victim. It changed my life. It made me hard. And I then became the predator. Today I can stand here in front of all of you and say I'm a survivor. And I'm proud of it. I facilitate most of the domestic violence classes except for one, which we have this morning, which is Women Over Violence. We partner with POV, Peace Over Violence, and I'd like to bring Amy up and introduce her. She is our facilitator for our Women Over Violence. She is actually with POV. This is Amy. With our women, and hopefully soon we will be starting a men's group. So let's give Amy a big round of applause. With that being said, I'd also like to introduce Gabriel, and he's going to tell you how he's changed his thinking and his experiences.
I'm honored because she asked me to come up here and share my experiences with domestic violence. Because I'm growing up, my first memories, growing up, it wasn't no like running in the park with a kite and my dad encouraging me and my mom like it was the truth. I mean, I was living in a little apartment, and my first memories was my mom getting beat. I mean, my mom was getting beat pretty bad, and my dad would beat me and my brother as well. And I would remember, my father was a heroin addict, right? But anybody who knows my father today knows that my father also made some amazing changes in his life, right? So I remember just my father would come home and I'm just hoping that he goes straight to the bathroom, because if he goes to the bathroom, I know he's gonna come out in a good mood, and I know he'll come out like wanting to probably toss a football around and stuff. But if he didn't go to that bathroom, I know we were in for it. I knew he was gonna be in a bad mood, and I knew that furniture was gonna get tossed around, and it became the norm. I became used to this. And it got to the point where, for some reason, I would remember in elementary school, chasing girls around and hitting girls on the schoolyard. And to me, like, I don't know why I would do that. And I was always fighting. So when it came time to being an adult, I was always in my addiction, and every single relationship I was in, I was an abuser. I was an abuser, but I was also a victim. I was in violent relationships where we were two broken individuals, and I'd go for the female that I think was really broken, so that I could take advantage of her, and that's my truth, right? And I can't blame it on my addiction because, my first relationship, I wasn't really on drugs, but I was an abuser, and this was an amazing woman who gave me 2 children, and I destroyed her life. And coming to Homeboy Industries, I remember talking to Javi when I first got here, and Javi told me, there's just one thing you got to change about yourself. I was like, I could do that. What's that? He said, everything. Oh man, all right, it's gonna take some time, right? 6 years later, I'm still working on myself. There's no such thing as, all right, I fixed myself. I'm done. This is work we got to do for the rest of our lives, because we come through some traumatic experiences that a lot of times our brain allows us to forget, to protect us, to protect our feelings, to protect our heart. But I knew that one thing I had to change was the way I treated women. And at the time, I was in a relationship with my 6-year-olds. At the time, it was a baby. I was in a relationship with his mother, and it was still a violent relationship. And I remember, that's one thing. I started going to anger management classes. And one thing I wanted to change was I wanted to fix that relationship, because my son was seeing this, And it was violent, it was physically violent, verbally violent, it was all that. And I remember me coming up with a decision like, look, I'm working on myself. I'm trying to evolve as a man. And, you know, she's not working on herself. She stopped getting high, stopped drinking, but she wasn't doing internal work, internal healing. And I came to a point where I had to end the relationship because I knew that if I was going to be in that relationship, she was going to keep bringing me down to her level. I would allow her to bring me down to her level. I had to relocate and I had to move away. And I remember I was doing good about 6 months into it, and one day I go pick up my son, and she's just talking smack to me, and I called out her name. I told her, F you, B. And then I was like, man. So I remember I told Javi, I go, hey Javi, she made me call her a B. And he goes, what? I go, she made me call her a B. He goes, what do you mean she made you? I go, yeah, that's what she did. He goes, no, she didn't make you. You allowed her to. And I was like, man, I have the power. I can't control no one's actions, but I definitely can control myself. And I knew that's one thing I wanted to change. I didn't want to call any woman out of name, even though she's calling me out of name, even if she's throwing things at me, I want to learn how to walk away. And I went into a depression when I was working in the cafe. I started doing good in school. Everything started going right in my life, and I started going through depression because I had to think about everything that I've done in my life, the families I've destroyed, the women that I've you know, that I've had an impact in their lives. And the only way I was going to do that was to forgive myself. But how was I going to forgive myself? That's where you know, it comes time to do the work, to do the internal healing. And I understand why I became that man. And that all goes down to my childhood. The first experiences I've had in my life. And not only that, but even when my father went back to prison, growing up around my uncles, seeing them commit violence, and it became normal. It became so normal that everywhere, all my homeboys that I grew up with, every time we go to their houses, whatever, they were beating up their girlfriends. They were beating each other up, basically. And it became so normal. I'm just sitting on the couch, and they're going at it right there. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take off. They're like, no, just kick it. All right. And it was, you know, but you know, I've done a lot of internal healing. And I can honestly say today, I do not call women out of name. Will never, ever lay a hand on a woman. You know what I mean? And you know, I just want to thank you all for listening to me. And I would like to introduce Jessica now.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I know I always avoid speaking, but today I came and so I dealt with domestic violence. Mine started since I was a little girl, and my story's a little bit more different because to me it's like, I was taught from a young age, you know, a lot of us hear it. Like my mom always told me, like, I hit you or I tell you these things because I love you. I hit you and I tell you these things because I care about you and I don't want you to be like this, and I care about you. So from a young age, I thought being abused, being physically abused, mentally abused, sexually abused, any type of abuse was because they loved me, right? And because nobody else was gonna love me anywhere. And that's where I first started thinking that was love. Growing up, I used to think if my mom didn't hit me, if she didn't scream at me at least once a day, she didn't care about me. I used to think growing up later on, I started seeing if I was in a relationship with a guy and if he didn't scream at me or call me a B once in a while or hit me or try to do things to me, it was because he didn't care about me. And I started seeking that. I started seeking, like, I want you to give me that love. That's what I thought was love. And for a long time, I kept seeing my mom go through that, and she was just like, it's just because they care about me. It's just, you just don't understand. You just don't understand. And there was always this anger in me that I was just like, no, but that shouldn't be the case. I started wanting not to see that. And I ended up getting kicked out of my house because I didn't see that her way, you know, but my mom didn't know any better. And once I got kicked out and I started going around to my neighborhood, I started seeing and people started showing me, if somebody tells you something, you swing. If somebody does something to you, you swing. So in that moment, I was all like, wait, So I was right? I'm supposed to hit, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do all these things back, right? Cool, I'm gonna go full force. So now I started becoming the person that now I'm gonna hurt you. Now all the anger that I had this whole time that I was growing up and people were beating me and doing all kinds of things to me, like now I'm gonna do it. And now I started becoming the person in the relationship that as soon as you disrespect me or talk back to me, I'm gonna call you out your name. I'm gonna do anything for me and you because it's not okay anymore. And that started becoming a problem because now I started thinking that everybody was against me, right? I started feeling love for all kinds of, it was just a different way that somebody showed me love where I felt like, oh, now they're protecting me because if somebody hits me, I could call my homeboys or my homegirls and we're gonna go. And now I felt more love to them, so they became my family. I followed everything that they said and everything that they told me. And it was this different way because now I wasn't a victim anymore. And I gained that power in that moment and I got addicted to it. Later on, I ended up being in a relationship where it was like, it was just not healthy because I started thinking this person really loves me, he cares about me, he doesn't call me out of my name, he doesn't, but he was telling me, you cannot kick it with this person, I don't get along with that person, so you can't talk to that person, I don't want you wearing this, so you don't wear that, and I would think like, oh, he cares, he loves, you know, like if somebody says anything to me, he's gonna be quick to do anything. So once again, I started thinking, love, that was love, that was love, that was love. And a lot of the times we always get so caught up with love because at the end of the day, that's really all we want, right? Whether it's from our parents, whether it's from our homeboys, at the end of the day, it might sound weird, but you want that acceptance and that means some type of love. And it wasn't until the moment when I started realizing that somebody told me, like, you're not the same anymore. You used to laugh, you used to come around, you used to say hi to everybody, and you're not like that anymore. And then when that got taken away and I started realizing that I was telling my kids one day, I'm hitting one of my kids and I'm telling them I do it because I care about you and because I love you. And they're looking scared. And I'm like, what am I doing to you? You know, what I was taught, that domestic violence that I was taught, I was doing to my kids. And I love them with all my heart. I did, I really, really did. So in that moment, I became my mom. And I knew probably what she felt in that moment, you know, because she really, really loved me. She just didn't know how to express it. And I was so afraid of my son doing anything that we did that I was like, I just don't know how to express this anger to you, that I just don't want you to do what we did. No, but what do they know? They don't know any different. And to me, my domestic violence, I let it on to my kids, not just to myself, but to my kids. You know, and then my kids to each other because now it's like, no, you can't do that. We're good. And I don't want to see my kids fighting. I have 2 daughters and a son. And for me to see them, no, you don't do that, I'm gonna hit you because you don't do that. And then I'm gonna tell mommy, and for me to think that that's okay, that's not okay. No, now, I recently got custody of my kids back last week. After almost 2 years of me not being able, and I was sitting in that courtroom. And before the day that I actually got them back, I was hearing people telling me, you're a bad mom because of this, you're a bad mom because of that. And then I found my criminal case and then they're telling me you're a bad person because of this, you're a bad person because of that. And I'm hearing this whole time, you're a bad person, you're a bad this is why you don't deserve, every time this is why you don't deserve. You get me? But I was coming here and I was like, but I do, I just didn't know any better. I promise I'm gonna do different, and I started learning how to do different. And now when my daughters are, today in the morning, I was so frustrated and I'm like rushing off to work and I'm trying to get here on time and I'm trying to scream at them and my daughter's like, Mommy, just relax. Mommy, just calm down. It's okay. And then I look at her and I'm like, and they're just playing all happy. I'm like, and I kneel down and I'm like, I'm sorry for raising my voice at you. They're like, it's okay, Mommy. Don't worry about it. I know you're tired, I know you're trying to get to work, it's okay. Your kids are like the most understanding people in the whole world. You know, and for me to try to say that it's because I love you that I'm gonna hit you, that's not okay because that's what they're gonna learn when they're older. You know, for me, that's where my domestic violence started. There's a lot more to it, but to me, that's where it started and that's what I'm learning now because I have my 2 daughters with me. And my daughters will not learn that it's okay for somebody to hit them because they love them.